So, welcome back, Alan. Now, on to our next question. There's almost a default playbook in Canada: prove it locally, then scale to the US. When did you realize that that playbook might not hold true anymore or might even be a risk?
We started this program, and inside this program, we started a very niche product around misinformation and disinformation. And for that product, we kind of developed a training platform called Detect. And our natural tendency, we were moving along. Detect, we had a lot of interest in the US, so we saw that coming along. And then the political climate changed about 12 months ago, and our US market basically dried up. There was no more phone calls. Like, you need to expand the market outside of the US. You need to look more at a global market and not depend on the US, not depend on an immediate or a natural expansion into our US market.
How did you realize or distinguish between they're just not interested in it's your product to it's more of a generic response?
Yeah, when it became a generic response across almost everybody that we spoke to, we needed to look to South America, we needed to look to Europe, and we needed to look into the Middle East. We quickly pivoted and focused our energies in those areas.
So that's interesting. So you pivoted. So how did you go about that? Develop the contacts, the relationships, I think fundamentally the level of trust and relationships are different in Europe and the Middle East. And one of the reasons we like the US is that they're usually very dynamic and they'll give it a go, they'll give it a try, they're quite open to risk. Whereas typically I would imagine the Middle East and Europe are not quite the same.
Yeah, we and let's separate them out as actually three distinct groups. We have South America, we have the Middle East, and we have Europe.
Uh-huh.
So let's kind of work it out there. Um, and so how did we get into Europe? First off, there was some advantages of going on again in the new political climate. We had a prime minister that was going out to all of these countries and promoting Canada, which then we supported that by making certain phone calls and calling into our natural warm market and what conferences were available, and also inviting them. We started creating more types of internal meetings and virtual meetings that we were bringing them into and talking to them about that. And it quickly became a relationship building environment. So there's a couple things we found. Number one, in Europe, we were seen as, think of it as honest brokers. Canadians are seen as honest brokers, and they look at us in terms of, yeah, we would like to do business with Canada. We're not sure how, we're not sure, if it's immediate, but we definitely have some synergies here that we want to leverage, and we see you guys as these honest brokers that we want to get involved. So that was an easy fit. Um, in the Middle East, we primarily focused on Oman. And if you know much about the Middle East, Oman is seen as kind of like the Switzerland of the Middle East. They have a plan called Oman Vision 2040. Part of that is to build infrastructure, technology, services, diversify the economy. They're a country of 5 million people, and they're on track for building 700,000 new homes. So it's a big growth. And they see Western Canada and many of the healthcare organizations on the University of Ottawa, and they see Canada as a very well solid delivery of healthcare services and training and everything along with that. But then they also needed cybersecurity on top of that. So, and they needed a significant amount of professional development. So again, we leveraged our healthcare to cyber to professional development and open the door there. I think one of the biggest lessons learned is that people buy from people. They don't buy from technology. They don't buy from websites. They don't buy from brochures. All of those things help you. They enhance what you're doing. They buy from people. And that was the biggest thing. We listened to what they had to say. And then it's like, oh, we have something. Let us help you and connect these dots for you. And when we were connecting those dots, we may have done an introduction to someone else, but in doing that introduction, we realized, are you looking for this as well? And the answer was yes. And that opened the door, and we kept building that relationship.
Uh-huh.